Biohazard warning. Entering contaminated zone. Transmissions jammed. Proximity coverage only. Backup activated. System rebooted.
What's going on, guys? Your boy Sly here with another Division video for you, and today we're going to talk about the new additions to Update 1.2 Conflict, and that are the PvE missions added to the Light Zone. Now, ever since agents were able to participate in the endgame, it was all about striving to find the best new weapons and gear in the game the fastest. Up until now, it's been Dark Zone drops, Dark Zone vendors, sometimes base of operations vendors, and of course, don't forget the incursion drops. Now, the glitching of the massively broken Falcon Lost created a rift between players and ultimately a huge level gap. The only way to catch up after the incursion was fixed was to basically grind the Dark Zone non-stop to reach a high rank, so you could then take advantage of the awesome blueprints that they had for sale. Once you had a blueprint, you could roll the best of the best, but a lot of us, myself included, easily tired of the Dark Zone. I stopped at rank 59 and only went in for the daily assignments or to check out the vendors. But now, the newly added HVT missions put some seriously powerful gear within the reach of agents tired of the DZ. Now, if you watched my incursion video, I briefly went over my inventory packed with 240 and 214 gear sets that dropped from the high value targets, and for the amount of effort you dish out, you can't beat the difficulty to drop ratio of HVTs. It's just not going to happen. They're actually a blast to play and fairly challenging, and with a group at your side, dare I say they are actually fun. Now, after the incursion, I spent all night doing HVTs, and before I knew it, it was already 3 a.m. New loot always makes it worthwhile, and that's what this video is about, showing you all the best way to get the best gear the fastest possible. So let's get to the boring part about the HVT missions, and that are these little things called intel. Every safe house now has an exclamation point visible next to them. If they don't, it's because you haven't finished all of your side missions from the original campaign. So do them all in a certain burrow or area and it will end up revealing itself. Once you clear them out, interact with the board, and then 3 search and destroy missions will pop up in that specific area. It's usually a fairly easy group of enemies that you go out, eliminate, move on to the next. It's pretty easy. Each group earns you 1 intel token, and after you eliminated all 3 of them within that area, you return to the safe house, interact with the board, and collect your final reward, which is usually a 163 high-end item and 2 intel tokens. So a total of 5 intel tokens per round or cycle. The problem here is that the HVT missions are expensive. The easiest daily target costs 5 intel to unlock, and though a great way to earn extra Phoenix credits, in terms of getting better gear, that's not the way to go. The lower half of the daily targets and all of the weekly missions are where the good loot is hiding. As you can see on screen, the most expensive daily is 30 intel, and the most expensive weekly is going to cost you 40. And while the more expensive also means the more challenging, the only thing it means to me is better loot. And before reset Thursday night, I easily pulled 6 items that were 240 along with a ton of 214 gear sets, not to mention all the 204 high ends that we got. Even the harder daily missions were dropping crazy high gear sets with awesome rolls on them. Generally speaking though, the best stuff comes from the weekly high value targets. So you're probably thinking to yourself, if one contract costs 30 to 40 intel, how the hell am I going to do them all? Well, luckily guys, this is a shared activity, meaning that when in a group of 4, one person can buy the mission and it will count for everyone in there. So if everyone has 50 tokens, you can split up the differences, each buy 1, and easily complete both lists. So let's show you guys the best way to do that. First, look for the smallest area or burrow in the city. Now these things will unlock in one area at a time, so doing them in smaller sections means less running around and more time fighting. I farm Hell's Kitchen. If you take a good look at it, you can see that no matter where you go, Hell's Kitchen is only a few blocks deep at any one time. It is a little long, but when you're doing missions, this means that they're going to be super close to each other compared to other places out in the city. As you can see from from this map, each of the search and destroy missions is only a block away from each other, a few hundred feet at the most. Out of one, into the next. In Hell's Kitchen, I usually complete the entire cycle in 6 minutes. You'll be running around for 6 minutes in other areas alone. Now, as you just saw, I left that fight, got my intel, and then ran to the other one, which was just around the corner. This happens a lot here, so that's why I mainly farm in this area and why you guys should do the same. Now, before you start farming, look for safe houses with these light blue circles around them, like this one you can see right here. If you hover over it, it'll show that this one has search and destroy missions as well as a critical one. Do these first before you farm Hell's Kitchen. Only one mission will be critical here, but it rewards you with 2 intel. After you complete the other missions, which still rewards you with 1, head back to the safe house, interact with the board, and as you can see, this time around you get double the amount, 4 intel. So I haven't quite figured out these critical search and destroys yet. Sometimes you can do these areas back to back, or once you find the critical, you complete it and it pops up elsewhere on the map immediately afterwards. Other times you complete one and it won't show up until the next day. So my advice is to do this first, then farm Hell's Kitchen and periodically check to see if any more criticals have popped up, as they are the best way to get the intel. Last pro tip, even if enemies drop green or blue or purple loot, which I know we don't use anymore, still run over to check them. Enemies will sometimes drop intel like you can see right here. Not running over the bodies means that you could be leaving this stuff behind, and since an entire fight only gives you 1, leaving 1 behind on the ground kind of hurts. So take notice to your radar and be sure if you see any circles on the map, run over top of them just to be sure. These high value target missions are fun, very rewarding, and if you aren't 200 gear score yet, you soon will be. I stayed at 196 gear score the last update because all of my higher stuff drastically killed my stats and it wasn't even worth it to me. Even though I could have been easily above 200, I stayed at 196 to keep my setup just the way I liked it. However, from this one run of weekly and daily HVTs, I jumped up to 219 with better stats, and I already have 2 of the new gear sets completed. That all happened within just a few hours. Guys, take a break from the DZ and come check out these new missions. It is seriously worth it. But that's it, agents. Just wanted to share this with you and the best ways to get these tokens and how you can get them the fastest. Now, keep to Hell's Kitchen, and in about 45 minutes to an hour, you can get 50 to 60 intel ready to gear up with. It's best to do weeklies with 3 people, and if you want a hard challenge, do the high-risk targets with only 2. The only problem I have is running out of ammo, and hopefully that will be addressed at some point in the future. But I'm out, y'all. Thanks for watching and for supporting the smaller YouTuber. If you want to stay up to date on everything, The Division, Destiny, and new uploads from Sly Nation, Twitter is the best place to do so, guys. Follow at Sly Nation and stay in the know wherever you go. Now, I hope everyone has an amazing Memorial Day. A heartfelt thank you goes out to all of the men and women in the service, and especially to those no longer able to be thanked. People often take for granted the ease at which we live here in North America. Life has tons of challenges, but nothing compared to those in third world countries. The dead soldiers of the past are the only reason why we're able to be here, comfortably playing The Division and expressing ourselves freely with friends across the globe. It is never too late to say thank you or pay your respects, which is what Memorial Day is all about. So thanks again to all our servicemen and women, as well as the millions of international soldiers that helped keep us safe. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Stay dry if you can. Have a drink for me, and I will see you all in the next one. But until then, this is your boy Sly. Done. Gone. Out.
Ammo inbound. Zone B secure.
So put your back